If we have people that are not showing up consistently, if for the first week during the working interview, they just can't seem to get themselves out of bed, or there are excuses time and time again, the thing I try to go for is 2 strikes, you're out, baby. Because 2 times means it's bound to happen again. If it keeps happening again and we keep investing in those people, we're not saving mental energy and room for those other people that have those qualities that are going to make it much, much easier for us down the line to actually grow the thing that we're trying to create. So it's been an interesting week so far. Lots and lots of changes occurring in my life, and I've had to have a lot of difficult conversations. What I've realized is that if we don't have these conversations in life, if we don't pursue that difficulty, we are going to be hitting ourselves in the face time and time again. Not realizing this is one of the reasons that companies fail, one of the reasons that families fail, and one of the reasons that our long-term goals never get accomplished. My name's Turab. I make videos about emotional intelligence, leadership, spirituality, and business daily in order to inspire the people watching to live, ideally, the most satisfying life that they want to live. So the difficult conversations that I've had this week have ranged from telling high-performing employees that they need to buckle down and stay more humble, to conversations with people that I'm buying properties with about things that they deem as valuable in their properties and I do not. So a lot of tricky situations, a lot of situations where there are high emotions and high risk in place, and frankly speaking, things that get me thinking and my blood boiling for at least a couple minutes afterwards. Luckily, over my life, I've gone through many, many difficult circumstances. I'm sure you guys have too, and you know that the best possible way to deal with these things is to rationalize them to the point where we can come to terms with what happened, and if we failed in the process, on how to improve and change that in the future. It's always a process of building. These difficulties are bound to come up, my friend, when we set goals that are larger than we have ever achieved before, larger than perhaps the dreams of the people that have inspired us in the past before. And us forging ahead, despite these complications, will result in a tremendous amount of mental stamina, fortitude built up. Now, the important part here to realize is that even if we're having these difficult conversations, even if we're being perceived as difficult, hard to handle people, that we are doing it ideally for a cause that is better for not just ourselves, but everyone else around us. And just as a side note, I don't want you guys to imagine that I don't prioritize myself in any capacity. Some of the most amazing people that are my role models in life make sure to iterate again and again through situations that they don't want to be a part of, their mental space, and they try to make sure that if they wake up in the morning thinking about a human being in a negative light, or if they wake up in the morning thinking about a problem that perhaps is really rudimentary compared to where they're headed, they try their very, very best to eliminate that thing from their environment as soon as possible so they can stay focused, stay motivated on the things that actually inspire them and make it fun to hang out with them in situations where they do have some time to dwell. Now, in terms of making sure that these conversations, that we interact are actually beneficial for the entire system, we need to have a little bit of a 10,000 foot view of our life and the lives of those around us. When I started in Franklin Dental Care and Dentures as a partner, I made sure that I prioritized the human resources aspect of the company, because I know that if you're going to build anything in life now, you need incredible human beings. You need people that are humble. You need people that are striving and people that are aligned on the mission of the company. And so I set out on a months and months long process of going through Indeed, prioritizing job posts, making sure that my calendar is in a situation where I can go and get those interviews, those good people in, and get them associated with the practice, the culture, the requirements of their job positions as quickly as possible. The orientation needed to be in a structured kind of package to make sure that everyone felt aligned right out of the gate and that they felt supported in the process of actually joining the company. Now, that also is to say that if you are hiring people, if you are adding people to your student organization, if you are adding people to your family, that we take serious considerations of what it means to have red flags. Red flags. For me, some of the greatest red flags of anyone that I want to have in my life consistently are if someone is argumentative, if someone is unsure, is confused about their viewpoint or where they want to fit into the company or the system that we're a part of. That's a red flag. If we have people that are not showing up consistently, if for the first week during the working interview, they just can't seem to get themselves out of bed or there are excuses time and time again, the thing I try to go for is 2 strikes, you're out, baby. Because 2 times means it's bound to happen again. And if it keeps happening again and we keep investing in those people, we're not saving mental energy and room for those other people that have those qualities that are going to make it much, much easier for us down the line to actually grow the thing that we're trying to create. Another red flag for me is if someone shows up disheveled, if someone is not aware of their personal physical appearance, their hygiene, the just general way that they walk, the way that they talk, it's going to be very, very difficult to put them into situations of growth. That hygiene, the basic physical appearance, so important for making sure that our environment is actually clean and our environment is conducive to people being high performers. These are 5 red flags that I look for. It doesn't matter if it's a spouse, doesn't matter if it's a girlfriend, a partner, someone that is going to work in my company. It doesn't matter if they're going to be someone that is an auxiliary person that I am delegating tasks to. These 5 red flags from now on in my life, always going to be like, listen, you got everything else, this thing, not quite. Now, it's important for us to have these in life. It's important for us to experiment and make sure that we are aware of the things that are our pet peeves. If we don't have the experience yet to do those things, mark my words, a couple months of doing interviews, a couple months of hiring and making sure that we're keeping people accountable to certain tasks, and you'll figure out very quickly where you need to land. It's going to come with a lot of heartache. It's going to come with a lot of headaches. Those of you that have been through the HR process and have done hiring in your life, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But again, such an essential role in life. Difficult conversations in general, though, the way that I approach them, and this is directly from Mr. Patrick Bet-David, is the way that we use our words. Very, very important to have a sense of compassion when we're using our words. So do I have your permission to be direct with you? Phenomenal phrase, right? It sets people up for having a little bit of a jagged conversation. It sets people up for the straight facts, the things that they need to hear. You ought to is better than you should. It just gives you a little bit more space to breathe. Very important to having these conversations. Also, please and thank you, right? Just having basic manners, whether it's with my patients, whether it's with my staff, whether it's with people that I'm doing partnerships with, people that I have meetings with. Incredibly important to be grateful for the time that they're spending there, and it makes sure that the culture in general is more conducive to a positive communication. The other things are, we need to gratify. We need to show people that there are things that they are doing first and foremost that are absolutely incredible. We need to be more emphasis. We need to put a lot more emphasis on those things because over time, people benefit more from positive reinforcement than negative reinforcement. That's at least been my experience with the types of cultures that I'm building in. And when it comes to these difficult conversations, it's so important to weave the conversation in and out. Sure, we want to hit it on the head on that thing that we want to connect with. You know, what is the real problem here? You know, what are some things that we can do to change this? Are you capable of doing these things? Am I capable of understanding where you're coming from? What are your, in general, long-term goals of why you're here, and does it align with the company's goals? Now, my friends, we're going to have people in life, and you probably know this person that's also incredibly intelligent, that's also really quite a contributor to our workforce, but I refuse to have bullies in my system. It is a tremendous detriment to any organization to have people that are high performers that are putting other people down around them. And I say this to you from the perspective of child Turab, who moved a lot and had bullies, target me, and dealt with them swiftly, because I realized that if you put your eyebrows in a certain direction and you copy Goku from Dragon Ball Z, that people are going to get very physically afraid of you regardless of how much strength you actually have. But I also realized that bullies in general tend to have tremendous amounts of insecurities, and those insecurities are not great for leadership. We need to have people that are well-rounded, people that are grounded and cultured in order to build our organizations. We cannot be the one that's leading all the time. I hope those that are watching this video understand that scaling your efforts is the real way to make the positive difference that you intend to make in your community, in your environment, maybe the country, maybe humanity. At the end of the day, difficult conversations are the doorway to becoming a phenomenal leader. Difficult conversations are the doorway to living the life that you want to live. Difficult conversations are the things that very many people in society are not willing to have, and it falls on the responsibility of those that have gotten to this point in the video to have those conversations for the sake of helping the entire system and moving your initiatives forward. My name is Turab. I hope this message finds you well. All of my blessings. I hope everything goes just as you planned. It's not going to go just as you planned, but I hope you have the mental reserve and the persistence to go through it anyway. You only fail when you give up. Actualize your potential catalyst. This world needs you. Take care of yourself. I'll see you in the next one.